Mate, are you a high altitude convert? What do you make of it?
Oh, look, I just thought it was a good chance, to get away with the group. Somewhere a bit different, footy clubs can get a bit stale around this time of the year, so a good opportunity to meet a new coaching group as well and sort of just get away and have a bit of fun as well as, do a few different things rather than just run around a park.
I was going to ask you, some of these camps are sort of split one or two ways, some of the bonding variety and others are the old-fashioned sufferfest. Where did this one sort of...
Yeah, it was sort of somewhere in between. We did a few footy things. Obviously, you can't train too hard in the altitude because of the oxygen and the effect it can have on the body. But, as I said, it was a good chance to get to know the coaches, start to discuss a little bit of game plan, but mainly try a few different things, walking up Mount Humphreys in the Grand Canyon, and overall it was a very good experience.
And was that really the first proper look at the game plan over there?
Oh, look, we didn't go into it a hell of a great deal. We just discussed a few little talking points just to get our minds around it, and so when we did come back and we did get into footy mode, that it wasn't all sort of new to us and that we had a little bit of an idea of what Mick was talking about.
Without going into specifics, is it radically different to what you used to?
No, I think footy's a pretty simple game, and if you try and overcomplicate things, that's when you can get in a bit of trouble.
He was in his element. He's certainly pretty hands-on with you all at the moment.
Yeah, well, I suppose having a year out of the game and probably, made his passion for coaching, probably grown a little bit, and he's been really good. He's been a breath of fresh air. He's, as you said, he's energetic. He's hands-on. He's still very passionate about the game. He still understands the game very well.
What's been the major difference in his style compared to Rat's?
I think mainly we've done a lot more stuff out in the park rather than in the meeting room. We've discussed a little bit in the meeting room, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, but he's been very big on coming out and walking through it on the park, which has probably made it a little bit easy for the players to understand.
Remember this time last year, there was obviously a lot of off-season surgery and a lot of guys starting slower. I think Jamo said before you left that it was vastly improved. What's the, I know you're not the club doctor, but the general state of the list health-wise?
Yeah, I think obviously this time of year you have a few, quite a few players you can have quite a few players in rehab, but those blokes that are in rehab aren't too far away. Most of them are running and probably maybe a week or two back from joining in the main group. But most of our players are healthy, and this time of year you just want to get everyone through to Christmas, and everyone says the same thing basically this time of year. We're all fit, we're all ready to go, and the fittest we've ever been. So I don't know why it'd be any different this year. Mate, I spent 2 months in the US, so I had a bit of fun.
Has Mick sort of given you everyone a bit of a clean slate, and sort of everyone's out to sort of start from scratch?
I think everyone's pretty keen themselves to sort of prove themselves to Mick, and a new coach comes in, I think everyone starts from the same spot, so reputations count for nothing, and that can be a really good thing for the playing group because it drives competition, it pushes players to maybe areas they've never been before, and it gets them out of their comfort zone, so it can only be a good thing for the club and the playing group.
And for yourself personally, does that suit your style?
Oh, look, I'm probably at the stage of my career where I can, regardless of who's coaching or not, I can never be comfortable, so I'm always sort of on edge and always got to prove myself and perform well week in, week out. And we're not playing at the moment, but I've got to still train well and still push my name up there.
So you're right behind Mick on that trek up Mount Humphrey. You seem to be leading the way. And
yeah, he was. He's a very keen Arizona man, Mick. He was up the front and we sort of got towards the end of the Grand Canyon. He was starting to slow down a bit, but no one was sort of too keen to overtake him, so we sort of just stayed behind him and tried to push him up a little bit.
Anything specific you're focusing on, Brock, this pre-season?
No, not really, mate. Just, in the past I've probably tended to overtrain and go a little bit too hard. So, like I said before, just get through to Christmas and get through injury-free and then, give myself the best chance of having a good year.
Could we just get your thoughts maybe on the captaincy, if the current bloke does decide to give it away, if he does? Who's your vote there? I know there's a few guys that could do it, but you got no idea?
The two standouts for me, I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, would be Andrew Carazzo and Mark Murphy. Carrots is probably a little bit more experienced and a little bit older than Murph and, been around a bit longer, so I reckon he's got a very good handle on things, and the way he talks to the playing group both in a positive and a demanding manner is something that we need. And Mark Murphy, I think his best way of leading is by leading by example, and his performances the last 2 years, when he has been out in the park, have been pretty outstanding. So those are the two blokes that come to mind for me.
I don't want you to speak for Chris, obviously, but I will. No, I just want to ask you, he's always been a bit of a reluctant captain. He was at West Coast and he sort of had to take the job here. Do you think the time's maybe right now, as you say, with those guys that have come up underneath him, with his stage of his career, maybe is the right time to give him?
Oh, look, I can only speak for myself, and personally, I think it'd be probably the best thing for Chris to, to just to focus on his footy. The best player Chris can be for the footy club is, he's probably the best player at the club. So, personally, I think he's best off focusing on his footy, but that's only my opinion.